I am so glad that I knew Olive, Olive before that famous discovery. It was so wild and so remote when I was there. Every day after work it was finished, Gillian and I were allowed to wander off on our own. Once we almost bumped into a black rhino. Rhinos are very short-sighted, and he knew something was wrong. He snorted and pawed the ground before turning and trotting off, tail held high in the air. Another time I had a sort of prickly feeling in my back. I turned around and there was a young male lion about 90 feet away, gazing at gazing at Gillian and me with much interest. We must walk calmly across the gorge and climb up onto the plain. I told Gillian. She, however, wanted to hide away from the lion in the thick undergrowth at the bottom of the gorge. In the end, we did what I want. The lion followed for about 300 feet, then stood and watched as we climbed up the into the open. Later, Lewis told me we had done the right thing. I hated leaving. When the 3 months were up, we all did. My only consolation was that I could continue to work for Lewis and to learn about animals. I quickly settled down to my new job when we got back to nearby. Not only did I work all day at a desk in Lewis's cluttered office, but I moved into one of the museum staff flats. There I could be with a group of people who were all really knowledgeable about African mammals, birds, reptiles, and insects. What a lot I learned during those days. My friend Sally came from came out from England to share the flat with me. She had become a teacher and she taught 5 to 6 year old children at a nearby school. It was not long before we had a collection of animals. People kept bringing them to me, animals who had been orphaned and needed a home, animals who had been rescued from African markets. First came a bush baby levy. A bush baby or galago is a small squirrel-like animal related to a monkey. Bush babies have huge ears, large and round eyes, and long, bushy tails. They make a loud wailing sound at night that, to some people, sounds like the carrying of babies. There are several different species. Levy was one of the smaller varieties. In the daytime, he was mostly asleep in a large guard guard on top of the cupboard in Lewis's office. Sometimes, and if Lewis had a visitor, Levy woke up when he heard the strange voice. He he would peer sleepily out of the guard, gaze down, and then take a flying leap and land on the newcomer's shoulders. One man, I'm sure, almost had a heart attack from fright. Lewis never minded. He said that people in Africa should always be prepared for anything to happen. In the evening, Livy lived around the room, catching insects attracted to the lights. He also ate a lot of fruit and mealworms. I often left the door open, but he never went away through. He sometimes visited the other residents of the museum flats and startled them as he leapt through door or window in pursuit of some insects. I next acquired a vervet monkey copy and a dwarf mongoose kip. Both were tied onto stalls at a local market. They became very fond of each other, and Cubby often sat holding Kit in his arms.